All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ Podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. We hope that you enjoy. Welcome to episode 332 of the KissFAQ Podcast. I'm your host, Julian Gill. Today I'm joined by the wild man from the East, Andy. Good to see you. And I'm going to see you again tomorrow as well when we do a Wasp episode, so that's going to be fun. And, of course, the voice of reason, 69th Blizzard, Ken. Thank you, everyone who tuned in and watched Andrew and my last-minute reaction video for the epic announcement last week. We hadn't really planned it more than like an hour before. Hey, you want to watch the countdown and see what happens? Oh, yeah, sure. So we did that. So our reactions were very much live and in the moment. We had no clue. Well, Andy had given me a good hint that it was going to be Dubai. Thank you, Andy, by the way. But to have it actually confirmed and, you know, to see the prices pop up, which were initially $50 on the website, they did then change that later on. They adjusted it. So our reaction to $50 and all that, well, we had positive reactions. Ken, I'm going to start with you because I just want to keep Andy waiting because he's primed. He's got his fuse has been lit. And
I think my wife's fuse has been lit more than mine. You should see her, man. She's still fired up about she's like, I might come upstairs and push you out of the way today. Well, my wife is fired up because we'll get into that. Yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
Ken, were you paying any attention to this epic announcement? What did you think it might be? And what was your reaction, I guess, to when the news did start circulating out about a pay-per-view of the band performing in Dubai, United Arab Emirates? I got that all messed up as well because I only ever referred to them by their Emirates names on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, I mean, I just heard that, they're going to announce this epic thing on Friday with the countdown. And I thought, okay. And then I did see someone said it was going to be a New Year's Eve maybe thing, but we weren't sure of that. And I was hoping for something else. Quite honestly, I was hoping for something little, well, more exciting, I guess. Whether it was like, a full-blown huge box set with everything you can think of, all the live shows and unreleased songs and demos and so on and so on. Either that or even just announce, Kiss, we're recording a new album or something. I mean, something like that. I know it's a far-fetched kind of thing nowadays, but you gotta hope. So I was hoping for something big. Again, I was thinking, well, it's probably not going to be. They always overhype things, so it was like that big huge monster book thing. It's just like no one could even afford the darn thing anyway. So I was hoping for something more, and I mean, this is okay, but they could have done a lot better.
So the pay-per-views, the live stream pay-per-views, I just want, Andy, before I get to your and Kim's reaction, I do want to just run through what these options are, so that anyone who's living under a rock and doesn't go on the FAQ can find out. The live stream access starts at $39.99. That is for the live stream itself and a single replay of the concert or stream during a 24-hour period. So watch it then, watch it once more, you're done. Then they have a $49.99 option, which is you can watch it live, and then you can watch it unlimited times over 72-hour period. So that's $49.99. And by the way, I don't get paid for this. I'm strictly reading these options off. Then you move into the exclusive packages, and at $249 VIP, you get obviously access to the 2020 Goodbye live stream on New Year's Eve, 30 days of replay video on demand rights, a limited edition t-shirt for the event, a commemorative VIP laminate, a limited edition DVD Blu-ray with 16-page book, a limited edition poster, a digital video download of the show, goodbye 2020 goodbye guitar picks, drumsticks, and face mask. So that's the $249 option. And finally, you get the super duper duper $999 option, which includes all of the above, plus a Ginsu knife. I'm sorry, wrong show. A limited edition t-shirt from the event, a hoodie from the event, what is it? Oh, the poster will be autographed by the band, a collectible numbered Kiss 2020 Goodbye engraved metal ticket, only 2,500 made. I think that's very optimistic that those will sell out. Obviously, the video demand, a limited edition vinyl record set, 180 gram. That is actually very appealing when you think of some of the kind of holy grail items that have come out in recent years. Greatest Hits comes to mind. Your name in the DVD, Blu-ray, and live stream credits. The sticks, the picks, the face mask, a crew shirt will only be made for crew at the event, and 2 tickets to a screening in spring 2021 when the show runs in movie theaters, cities to be determined. Now, I know Andy can barely contain himself any longer. Andy, go.
Well, I heard a rumor, and I hate rumors. You know how that goes. But I had heard a month or more that this was happening. So I had already heard the rumors that this was going to happen. And my first reaction is like, yeah, okay, whatever. Because, like I said, I don't like rumors. But then I'm thinking, what's going on with the world? The reality of the world is getting worse, you know? So when I saw the ad go up as it, Kiss the hottest, and then I saw the hottest, Kiss is the hottest band in Atlanta, and it's going to get hotter. As soon as it said hotter, I knew it. It's on. I knew it was going to be the Dubai thing. It was true. And I was just like, okay. Now, Paul, this is where it gets crazy. Because Paul had just tweeted, and I don't share his stuff. I don't care what people do, like in his personal life kind of thing. It's his family, his stuff, whatever. I don't really care. But Paul made a post that Kim and I actually were like, you know what, this is probably one of Paul's best posts of the year. Basically about Thanksgiving, do with your family, don't make a meal to die. Basically saying, don't have a lot of people over your house. Don't have, just your immediate family. Don't have your grandparents over your house. Don't have a ton of your friends over your house. All this crap a day before. And then this comes out. And it's these packages. You got to be kidding me. He hypocrited himself. Again, they said he hypocrite. He went from don't go anywhere, just your immediate family, to, oh, yeah, buy our pay-per-view. And you're basically saying, in a non-way, basically telling people, have a party together. Buy this thing and have a party together and get together and watch us on New Year's Eve. Right? Am I right or wrong? What do you think?
I agree.
So, and the other thing is, my wife had COVID for 38 days and then in the hospital for another 3, and she's still going through stuff after things, which she could be for her for life now because COVID attacked her system, and she's still going through it. And she was forced back to go to work because of the FMA run out, all the employment stuff run out, even though that she did want to go to work. It's not like she's lazy. She didn't want to go to work, but she gets tired at work. And guess what? Look at the numbers now. The COVID is skyrocketing once again. It's worse. Is it pretty close, depending on what state you live in?
It's actually worse than March now and earlier this year in most states. That includes California and our holier-than-thou governor who was busted at the laundromat. The French Laundry, without mask, without social distancing, partying. or at a party, so technically partying. And, I don't cast dispersions on anyone else for their personal responsibility. I take care of my own. I wear my mask. I like people at a distance. I always have. I was into socially distancing before it was a thing. But
it's the touching things. You go somewhere, you go to a grocery store. I don't think now people are starting to really think about this. When you leave your house, you touch a door handle. You touch your own door handle. You go to a grocery store. You touch groceries. You touch a card. Even if they're wearing gloves. Actually, gloves are one of the worst. Those rubber gloves that people wear. It's one of the worst things you can wear. Kim will tell you. The nurses will tell you. Nurses and stuff wear them when they go in to see a patient that's really, really, really sick. But for the regular people who are just walking around with rubber gloves, those are terrible because the stuff gets on it. Then you touch something, and you touch something else. And then how many times do you rub your eyes by mistake without even thinking about, or go like this, your nose or your mouth? How many times do you do that a day without even thinking about it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and how many times are nurses and doctors changing those gloves, Andy? They put on a fresh pair, go in, see patient, take off, new pair. Yep. Take off. They're not walking around touching everything continuously. I mean, that's what people get wrong about PPE. It doesn't keep you safe if you're not using it appropriately. But I don't want to get into pontificating about healthcare and that side of things. But
I understand that, but again, it comes back to Paul saying, be safe, stay safe. But now, pay-per-view. And to me, in the long run, man, you don't think that if Kim or I we're playing it safe, we're trying to do the right things, man, I'm telling you, if this wasn't a COVID thing, you don't think I'd have 50 people over my house? I'd buy the $50, $40 one and say, let's rip it up, man. Let's do New Year's Eve, man. This is great in that
but
way.
I do think what it is going to offer fans an opportunity. I'm going to play devil's advocate on this. Let me make my position on this very clear. I purchased while I was still doing the reaction video. I'm totally down with spending whatever time it happens to be in California on New Year's Eve. I will not be drinking. So it gives me something to watch. What it then also gives me an opportunity to do is to set up a virtual chat room, because I'm not doing it on the FAQ. I want to do a virtual private event, something. Pascali's already doing one on Facebook. I will probably do one or maybe even join that and get on with other KISS fans, because we're going to be watching it individually, but it doesn't mean that we have to watch it alone. It doesn't mean that we have to gather together socially, dangerously. And that's, I think, has to be a key consideration in this. $39.99 is a lot of money for a pay-per-view, without a doubt. What was Metallica's or the Foo Fighters? I think 15 or $20. So, and a lot of bands have done them for free. So yes, they are paying a premium, but you have to also remember that this is KISS. As was already mentioned, the Monster Book, the most ludicrous item ever done. They could have gone to a hangar in Las Vegas or Nevada, right next door. A state where there have been very minimal rules on social distancing. They could have assembled a stage there at much less cost than going to Dubai, where while we were on the reaction video, I was looking up flights to, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, just out of giggles, because I wanted to see, number one, would it be even feasible to weasel one's way into that? No, not bloody likely, but still. But what I did discover from that is that there's a mandatory 2-week quarantine for people flying into the Emirates, and presumably those also apply to people who are up the social ladder, not just peons going into the country or maids.
Well, that's the other thing too. Is I understand there's two ways you look at it. Yeah, like say I understand these people need to make money. Gene and Paul do not need to make the money, or Eric, whatever piece of change he gets, nickel a quarter he gets, and Tommy. But I understand the other guys, the other people in the thing need the money to survive, because they haven't had any jobs in a while. And I get it, it's hard. But all those people have to get on planes together. All those people have to fly over together. All those people are going to stay in a hotel together. All those people are going to have to build the stage together. There is no way that there's any social distancing at some point with all that going on.
Right, but they will have quarantined together as well. I think we have to keep that in mind, that if they quarantine together and are tested together and are all safe together, then I hate using like our politicians, because that didn't work out so well for either side of the spectrum, to be clear. There is a way for it to be done safely. If they're going into country 2 weeks and they're mandatorily quarantined, then they're clean and they're tested and they're clean. So there's no reason why they have. Once you're clean and you're proven, socially distancing only works when you are unsure about the other people around you and those that you're coming into contact with. Ken, I mean, talk me down here.
No, well, are you saying that KISS is going to quarantine? The band is going to quarantine for 2 weeks before they go there? I don't see that.
I don't see that happening before they go there, but they're going to have to quarantine for 2 weeks after they arrive there before they do anything.
I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think
it seems to be a pretty big problem.
2 weeks before the show and quarantine for 2 weeks, unless they're trying to quarantine the whole road crew and them in some kind of makeshift something as part of that arena or whatever it is, and just do it all together at once. I don't know. I find it hard to believe that Gene and Paul are going to be quarantined
with no media hype either at some point.
I don't understand.
Well, they've already done media hype. They've done Entertainment Tonight to schlep it.
Yeah. But I mean, as Andy said, they're all going to be they got to get over there together. They're not going to fly individual planes. You have to get a million planes flying at once over there, like a squadron or something. But the KISS squadron. But
G5s in KISS formation.
So someone's going to shoot down somebody. But anyway, I just can't believe they're going to be able to do that again. And so why didn't they just do it at the new LA Raiders arena or something like that in Vegas?
Oh.
Well, they said they're going for the world record of the biggest show, period. Or
this is for a Guinness World Record or something.
Yeah, they do it. And so there's going to be a lot of media hype. You don't think the media is going to be around?
Oh yeah,
they live for that stuff. That's their bread and butter. Media.
Yeah.
The more media, the better for them. I just find it. And what happens if somebody gets sick? No, and I'm talking. What happens if somebody in the road crew or the food? Now you got to understand too. Not just the road crew. What about all the people if they're staying in the hotel? What about all the people that are working around the hotel? Those people just, go on with their regular lives. Hi, I'm going to work today. I'm cleaning rooms or making food, and then they go home and they go off to their lives. How do those people do? They're not going to quarantine all those people either. And how do you know that those people are doing the right thing? You never, ever know. And what happens for some whacked out reason, not even whacked out reason, that one of the guys gets sick, really gets sick. Gene and Paul are not kids anymore. What happens and we don't know if they have any underlying issues as it is. We don't know if they have some kind of stuff, medical stuff anyways, because as we know, the COVID attacks your system, and it's more to get after people who have, underlying issues.
Paul has that heart issue, right?
And Gene has had procedures over the years, as we well know, but whether they are underlying conditions, none of our business, frankly, but, it is a consideration, as I know from my own interaction with COVID, is that COVID attacks all of your vulnerabilities. It goes for those, whether you want to call them underlying conditions, but let me put it this way. I'm obviously overweight, but it was also attacking my knee, which hurt like the devil when I had COVID, and I broke that in 1995. So if you want to think of what it can do, it will attack everything. It attacked my back, my hips, which, have been damaged for years and years and years. So not just stuff like high blood pressure. I don't have diabetes, but any of those things. It will go after absolutely anything because it is really heinous. And it's obviously different in every person. You could be a sick mongrel and it won't do anything. You'll just be one of those lucky people. So who knows? But that is a fair point about what does happen to Gene or Paul. And come on, let's not forget Eric and Tommy. Neither of them are spring chickens either. But also it is a matter of risk. The people who work in these places in UAE and other Arab countries are usually imports from countries like Pakistan, Indonesia, some Asian countries. So, what are the standards? They're often seen as disposable, as you will often read on news sites such as the BBC about employees being treated heinously in Saudi Arabia, UAE, I have no idea, but it does have, politics and other things going on there that are of, a little bit of concern. Someone tried to escape from there in 2018, a member of the royal family, and was captured in the Saudi Sea and brought back to the kingdom. So in terms of that, there's a lot I don't know about it. It's been 30 years since I even did a stopover there. But going for a world record, why can't that be done at home in the US of A? That's the point that really boggles the mind. So I'm thinking that it must be because of money, because of funding, because those rooms at Atlantis, someone was pointing out, I don't think you're going there, Julian, and sent me a screenshot of the costs of the cheap rooms at the Atlantis at like $4,000 a night. So are Gene and Paul going to have their $25,000 a night suites for 2 weeks before the show, and then pre-staging when they can actually work? Andy, I think you raised a very, very valid point.
It's I say this stuff because it's scary, because let's face it, man, we don't want to see Gene or Paul get sick or anything happen to them, and that's end up being their really last show, period. We want to see them at least finish out the tour next year, or if not next year, later the end of the year, or whatever happens. Come on, people. We want we want to see the end. We want to see them leave on a live crowd, saying goodbye, taking the bow, and actually leaving off that stage somewhere in New York City, which I still think it's Met Stadium. It's been my guess since day one. Met Stadium. Anyways, I don't think they will. I'm hoping that they don't want to leave on this kind of point, that they want to leave with a bunch of people standing, 60,000, 40, 50, 60,000 people at least standing in front of them, going absolutely ballistic and taking the bow and saying goodbye for good, and not on a pay-per-view somewhere where there's no audience. I don't even know. That's got to be the weirdest thing it's going to be. They're going to be trying to pull all these things they do with no audience there? It's weird.
50 that's 50 cameras and 50 cameras.
And 50 cameras, they're going to catch every little detail. Everybody's going to rip them apart. Every 50 cameras everywhere. I just think it's weird that it's kind of another interesting too, but it's weird that, again, they're not going to have the audience there. What is Gene going to do? Jim's going to look at the camera all the time and go, oh, no, and Paul's going to go, like he always does. But then you know how they usually go to the edge of the stage and do that stuff. There's no audience there. What are aren't they going to feel kind of like scratching their head going, oh, this is kind of odd?
No.
Now, the other thing
Keith will be there. They're good at mugging for the camera guys. They spend Ken and I saw it from the front. They mug a lot for the camera guys, and that was like dozens of shows into the tour. But I want you to consider something, Ken. Could this be a contingency for if touring cannot continue into 2021 and they need something to fall back on as their final Kiss goodbye? I mean, look at what they're saying. They're not only saying Kiss 2020 goodbye, but could it end up being a little bit more final than that if they just cannot get back out on the road again? And does it not also fill the option of providing a high resolution video capture, with 50 cameras, 360 views, for commercial use?
Yeah, it crossed my mind that, and then I thought, no, that's not going to be their last show, because even the New York show, whatever it may be, may not even be the last show. They may pop up in these little wherever, Vegas or whatever, to do something even after their supposed last touring, the tour show. That's the key thing there, is that they're going to do no more touring, but it doesn't mean they're not going to do they're offered enough money, they'll play here or there, right? So you could think of it as a contingency, but that crossed my mind really quickly, and then it went out the window. I mean, it's like, no. So yeah, I don't know how they're gonna. But like Andy said, I don't know how they're gonna do it without an audience and a crowd cheering. What are they gonna do? They're gonna use a Live 2, the recordings from a Live 2, and pump that in there as the audience cheering and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Eddie Kramer on line 1 with your audience track.
I agree with Ken too. Like you said, they've done touring, but then they could do the Vegas thing again. But then people are going to have to fly to go see it, which they will to a certain point. But the tour thing itself for the general public and all that, where you're going to get more of the diehards go to Vegas. Say they do another record, more of the diehards are going to go to Vegas, and at some point that's going to be it. They're not going to get that. They're not going to get the just general audience, because the general audience is going to go, I'm not flying to Vegas to go see Kiss. Well, maybe I will for the weekend or whatever, here and there, but not, not the masses. Let's face it, man. There are only X amount of what we call diehards, or go travel more, or go see them. Now, let's face it. You go to some of these shows and they're like, people are sitting there scratching it. What is this song? Huh?
Yeah.
Man, I just want to hear.
And come on, you went to the first Vegas residency like I did. They didn't sell out. Those weren't packed. Those had a lot of rollers in there who were just in for freak show, had no idea what they were watching, what they were listening to, and lots of millennials who were more interested in doing selfies with each other, as I ranted about after the fact. So, how appealing is another residency to the band, let alone the hotels and venues that have to pay them?
Well, Tommy just moved there, right? Tommy just moved to Vegas, right?
So did Eric.
Well, that could be a hint then, in a way. I don't know nothing. I'm just saying, it could be a hint. When he said he was moving to Vegas, so he just said Eric's living there. Never know. Maybe they are sitting, and that's fine. But touring thing, though, I'm sorry. I just don't like it that they just, if this is it, if this ends up being really it, because the way the situation in the world is, it's pretty sad. It's got to hurt them too, in a way. They were made for the stage. These guys were made for the stage. They've been doing it for 40 plus years. This is the terrible way to end it if it really ends this way. Oh my God, look, 50 cameras watching Gene and Paul on a stage with nobody around cheering.
Right, but you don't get to write your ending, but you might as well prepare, and that's why I think as a contingency it makes sense, because again, going forward, I think it's a nice fairy tale ending for possibly that last show in New York. As an active, ongoing, touring entity. I mean, we've talked about that one so many times. It has so many meanings to the band, but New York is a mess.
Everywhere is a mess.
And when even now with the vaccines becoming available, the third one today, looks promising, and that one's cheaper. So that one's going to be, competing with the others. But getting everyone vaccinated, and the people who won't want to be vaccinated, of course. And then once you've vaccinated 90 million people, then you'll probably find out, oops, there are some things that didn't come out in the studies. So I think we're a very long way away from returning to any semblance of normality within this world. And trust me, it's not because I want us to not have normality. I want to get to England and see my family. Sharpish, the clock is ticking and things are happening there that, like millions of others affected by this lockdown and the controls that we're under. The vaccine's not going to fix that. quickly either. Kim might be, early adopter of vaccine because of being a healthcare worker. Same with me. They're still talking about who's going to get targeted first, elderly, those in nursing homes, well, those left in nursing homes in New York anyway.
It should be. And, that's the thing. People don't, a lot of people do understand, and there's a lot that don't. Because if a lot understood, we wouldn't be getting this worse again, or even worse than the regular. I mean, these are your parents, your grandparents, because these are the people who are, well, actually now they're saying people in their 20s and 30s now are getting it massively. But I have a friend. He is 61. He's a diabetic. He's basically blind now, and he's only 61. He can't drive. If he gets even a sniff of the COVID, he's already been told he will not live. So he doesn't even go out of his house. We go to his house. He basically throws the laundry in the laundry basket, slides it out the door, slides his thing with his money to get his groceries. We do his grocery shopping. We do his laundry. We bring it back. We slide it back in the thing, and we got the cloths there to wash our hands. Just the the bags, the plastic bags, put the groceries in. We're wiping them down and doing it. I am so scared to death about me somehow just getting it on me and give it to him, and then he's going to be gone, and it's not even his fault. So this is why I see it in another way, because again, if you have grandparents and parents like that who have underneath health issues, they're bound to get it quicker. It just drives me crazy seeing these people who basically say in the cameras on TV saying, "I don't care." Literally, I don't care. I'm gonna have the 50 people at my house for Thanksgiving dinner. I don't give a shit. It's a tradition. Oh my God, you mean to tell me you can't take 1 year off? The 1 day, 1 year off. It doesn't. And of course, maybe the grandparents won't go anyways. They'll be smart enough to say no. But there are grandparents that maybe are not mentally there anymore, who really don't know, and they just grab and take it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, come see the family," because it could be their last, Thanksgiving or last Christmas. Yeah, it could be their last Christmas. They might not even make it to Christmas if they catch the COVID. You know what I mean? It's just so fast sometimes. It can hit people and then they're gone just like that. And other people, like you said, Julian, it lingers in you and lingers in you and lingers in you. It's never going to go away.
Well,
it's scary.
Let's not say never, because I have to have some hope.
Yeah.
Kim has to have some hope as well, that things are going to look up, and the wee bastard will eventually depart. But
yes and no. It could be like.
But I want to steer away a little bit from the kind of the. I don't want to have to ban myself. That's really bad optics for admin on the FAQ. But will you buy the pay-per-view, or will you not, Ken?
I did.
I did.
Well, the main reason, and I chose the less expensive VIP, which is still expensive, but I bought that one mainly because of the video. It came with some drumsticks and this and that and a shirt and so on, but it was mostly because of the video. If it's truly limited edition. Though, I saw the one that was, the 1,000 or 999. That one, you don't get that much more for all that extra money that you have to spend. Maybe that vinyl album may or may not be worth $750 at some point. I don't see it. And that one doesn't excite me. That vinyl doesn't excite me as some other.
Really, it doesn't.
It really doesn't. I saw it and I thought, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it. All the extra money to get that.
I mean, it's a pretty mighty price step from just that first level of VIP up to the granddaddy at the mall.
And you don't get that much extra. Yeah, you get your name on the video. yeah, it's fine.
It's the only way I'm ever going to get
little,
my name in a Kiss product.
They signed a poster. Okay, I have signed stuff. I'm sure you guys do too, of course. So that's not that. To me, that's not worth the extra dollars to go to that $999. That's just me. And yeah, the movie theater ticket thing. It may not even show locally. I don't know anyway.
No. And when I explain myself, we'll talk a little bit about some of that. Andy, will you?
No.
Is that a firm no?
That's definitely a firm no, because number one, you have like 50 cameras. Do you need like the massive TV, like the humongous TV to get this? You know, you got these $10,000 TVs. Is this going to be like you need the $10,000 TV to see all 50 angles at once, or the best color picture? You know what I mean? And again, now it says in the thing you're going to be able to see it in the theaters in the spring. Well, guess what? Every time they've done something that's gone to the theaters, it's been around here, and I've gone at least once or twice. And I bet you, if I get lucky this time again, like they did to Vegas, is I'll be able to see it at the drive-in next spring or something, because they showed it here in the drive-in, and that was cool. Because it was like, I think it was the only place that I had known in the United States, because I had asked around afterwards, did you see the Vegas thing on a big giant screen in the drive-in? You know what I mean? That would be awesome if they did something like that after. But if they're going to show it in the theaters after, or the TV screens, why do I need to buy it on New Year's?
No, and that is wicked awesome. At the drive-in, I mean, that was something I was actually thinking of what would be better than if you're in an area that you could have your socially distant Kiss viewing party on the drive-in. Everyone showing, or with your beach chairs, watching out under the stars while Kiss blows stuff. I mean, that is absolutely fantastic. That makes me all sort of teary, just thinking about it. I bought while on, as I mentioned, while we were still doing the reaction, I went with the vinyl because of the vinyl. And because some of the other stuff will make good giveaways, and
You'll sell the vinyl.
No, some of it will make very good giveaways. They've never done a big screen viewing that I've been able to attend easily in San Francisco. It's always way down the peninsula, which back in the old days where I didn't have a second parking spot was a big deal. Now, I will probably go. And if I can't go, I've got the opportunity to give away tickets, give away hoodies, stuff that I have no use for out of that package. So from that perspective,
I'm sitting right here, hand it over.
It kind of works out for that. But the vinyl, the vinyl and I don't care about the name and the product because that just doesn't matter unless I've actually contributed to it. That's nice. It's token, so it was all about the vinyl. Absolutely about the vinyl, because I'm not going to be sitting there wearing a laminate, wearing my hoodie, putting on my scarf at 3:00 in the afternoon to watch Kiss from Dubai.
Well, we
want pictures.
Yeah. I would imagine the vinyl would sound a lot almost identical to the Kiss in Vegas vinyl that came out.
Yeah, but would you actually open it?
I mean, it might be the same.
Well, you never know. They could probably send you the vinyl before the show this time.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that was another thing that Kim had brought up. Was that has this show already been done?
Yeah.
Is it too late to request Strutter?
Some of it.
Do we know? Did they do it before all this stuff hit? The only thing they would have to do would be the fireworks to show it would be live if somebody was like Google Earth or something. And, hey, I'm watching Google Earth. I'm watching Dubai right now because they're supposed to have these fireworks as they show probably all on the outside, right?
So Andy, are we going full conspiracy theory here about faking the moon landing?
It's like Capricorn 1, that old movie Capricorn.
Oh my God! Yeah.
No, I'm serious. Kim brought it up. She's like, hey, I wonder if they actually pre-recorded this before.
You're blaming your wife. You're throwing Kim under the bus. Kim brought it
I'll
up.
go get her right now. I'll yell for Dad.
No, it could.
And she'll see me. I'm telling you, dude. She said the first thing came out of her mouth. She goes, number one, what are they thinking? And number two, she's like, I bet you that's pre-recorded. I bet you they've already done that show.
Yeah, I wouldn't rule it out.
I see. Even Ken just said I wouldn't rule it out. I'm not saying it is or it isn't. But I'm just, and we're going to get flack for it because we brought it up. But
well, you know what? Throughout the whole End of the Road tour, there has been the elephant in the room about the use of pre-recorded vocals and vocal smoothing pedals on this tour. So it's already out there. We're not bringing anything up as like it's new. We're not Sherlock Holmes making new discoveries. Other people have spent hours and hours and hours A/B-ing video and seeing where Paul Stanley's face is in relation to the microphone when lyrics are being sung. And I just say, get a life, because I go to the shows, I enjoy them for what they are, and I'm not worried about that level of detail. Now, I can understand people saying, why are we paying for a live stream if it's pre-recorded, So I do understand the optics and the perception of that side of things, but I don't think it bothers me in the slightest because I've already given in to the circumstances what year we're in 2020 now. So yeah, plenty of times I'm losing track of where I am in space and time. I've been locked up for so long, going potty.
I'm worried about how they're going to use these 50 cameras. I do not want a show that's like that Kiss Alive 4, with the symphony, which is which was gives me a headache.
Yeah, seizure-inducing.
Switching shots so often. So if they really intend to use 50 cameras, are they going to be like some guy's going to be back there, 1, 25, 30?
No. Give it to Catboy to do. Give him the 50 streams and have Andrew, get his incognito films.
I want to see. I don't want to jump around though, too much. Let's make it smooth.
They were better for Vegas. The Vegas DVD, they learned their lesson.
That was better.
That was much more enjoyable.
Oh, but still, that DVD, that Vegas DVD was nothing compared to being there. I don't care what anybody says. It's always better being there, but that show, man, was one of the best Kiss shows I had seen from these four in a long time. Yeah. I'm not talking about 80s or 70s Kiss. No. But for, Gene, Paul, Eric, and Tommy, in the last kind of half a decade, that was one of the best shows I had seen from them in a long time, and it was back to back.
Okay, so there's a point then, Andy, that was a very highly choreographed, staged presentation. The Residency is not Dubai very similar to that, in that it's going to be highly choreographed, very scheduled, down to the minute, everything, that it could be just as good as you have just said. Obviously, you've also said that seeing it on screen was nowhere near as good as seeing it in person, but I think that it was a pretty good representation of what I saw in person. And at least from where I was placed when I went to my residency show, I don't know where you were. Were you on the floor? Were you up on the balconies? Were you center? Were you left, right?
Yeah, the first night I was up and about because I wasn't really intending to go. I thought about the whole story on my page. I did intend to go, and then somebody says, Eddie, you want my flight, the ticket, not tickets. Oh, my God. Points, thank you. Points, and said, Andy, take them. I'm going to lose them. Come to Vegas. And I'm like, well, I don't have any tickets. Well, we bought 8, and I think 2 people backed out. They bought like 8 or 10 in a row in the back underneath the thing. And I explain that story. Actually, as good as the show was, man, if you were up in that balcony straight across in the back, the overhang was awful. If you stood up, you couldn't see nothing. You had to sit down the whole back. The whole back, straight in the back, had to sit the whole entire time. Because you had to see. You had to basically go like this the whole night. Because if you stood up, all you would see was the boots. The only time you could see anybody was Paul when he came out and flew out in that catwalk that shook like mad. That's the only time. And if you stood up, you'd probably see just like this the little boots. That place was actually kind of terrible for that part. But then the next night we're on the floor in the middle.
Yeah.
And the glass, those glass screens.
Yep.
That came over the audience and went like really far back.
They went very far back. They were just ahead of where I was because I was on the floor about midway on the left side. So I had a great view of Paul going around his track. I can't remember which song he did on one side that he did Black Diamond on the other. But that was really cool. And placement-wise, other than the people who were doing selfies in front of me the whole damn show and going out to get drinks, I was able to see the stage, and the two gigantic video screens were really good. And then when I saw the video, it was very much like, I'm like, wow, I'm almost back there from my perspective. Yes, you're not getting kind of the bombast of the live bass and the performance and the noise and the people. But in terms of being at a show that was filmed, much better representation of my experience than Dodger Stadium, which I never want to talk about again.
Yeah, I don't know. And what are they going to do? Are they going to use the stage or using now? Because
they can't take it out. There is no way they can get that shipped out to the Emirates unless it's already left weeks ago. That it's just not a technical possibility. The amount of time it takes to get things prepared, even for going Los Angeles to Auckland, and I've still got their bills from when they did that a few years ago that they sent to the wrong person. The logistics of doing so are horrendously complex, because you're going either trans-Pacific or you're cutting down Panama and going the other direction and going Mediterranean, Suez. It's just no way.
And just thinking about this too, another thing too is that all those guys, they live on the West Coast, so that means they're gonna have to fly all the way to the East Coast, all the way to this side at some point. Probably, New York or somewhere, probably, because they're usually, most people don't stop in Boston.
Oh, because you now can't do stops. You can't go the other way and do a week in Tokyo and then fly on to the Emirates. And just conversely, you'd have to do a single shot there because of quarantining, probably. So again, logistics.
Well, that's got to be. Oh my God, that's
be 17 hour, 14, 17 hour. It's what 11 hours, San Francisco or LA to London. So add to that, I think it's about 8 from London to UAE-ish. Again, it's been so long, and a lot of the times I did the routes, I was doing cheap airlines like Romanian that had to stop every 1,000 miles for refueling. So these days it's a little bit different. So I'm pretty sure a G5 does not have the range to do single shot.
So I would imagine they're gonna have to. I would imagine they stop anyways somewhere to just get more extra gas in or whatever. Even if they just stopped in New York or something. I mean, it just
to stretch the bloody legs
to the East Coast, and then fly from California to New York, and then New York to Dubai. I mean, come on, and it's a lot of. You just be worn out just from that. You're gonna need a couple of days just to get your brain straight for that. And let's face it, the guys are not. I mean, I don't know if they are or not, but come on, I know Paul's been doing his bicycling and keeping him in shape, but
yeah, he got a head start.
This is a whole yeah.
This is like go from there into a paddle boat.
All right, let's wrap up with a single question.
Canada, you're still by the skis.
Yeah. Okay. Last question before we wrap up. If you were in charge of having KISS do a live stream, Ken, what would be your preferred format for New Year's Eve?
Live stream preferred format.
Yeah, place, structure, package, price, all of the kind of what would make it, the Ken's deal of KISS live streams. the reasonable package.
A free summer, maybe 4th of July show at Central Park. That would be mine. Hey, or if it was paid, donate this stuff to whatever, to a good cause. But I would rather do it in New York I mean, that's where they started. So, and then of course, that's the one where I say they should finish. But yeah, I really don't understand Dubai so much. So, like you said, Julian, they could have done it anywhere. So why not do it in New York? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I said July 4th. It's because hopefully everyone's vaccinated or whatever by that time. I don't think they will be yet, but we'll be hopefully getting there. But yeah, right now with the Dubai thing, I don't know.
And by the way, the answer to the question is 16 hours nonstop on Emirates from LAX.
Oh my God.
That's nearly as bad as the LA Singapore flights. Ay.
They still got more shows after the 4th of July next year, still scheduled.
Yeah, there's no 4th of July show next year.
In October next year, a year from now or whatever. But
I got September 7th or something now. It's been so they have shows at least until the end of September, I think, next year. Well, supposedly September, October. So that last show is, if it really happens, probably not going to happen until 2022. Maybe
that's a limited DVD because they're thinking, well, we put this DVD out of the end of the road, everyone's going to see it and they're not going to want to come and buy tickets to the show. But I don't believe that. I don't believe that would cause a problem with ticket sales.
Yeah, July the 4th next year, they're actually in Spain, on the make-up European leg. They still owe Australia and New Zealand a leg of tour, or a leg of lamb.
Central America.
And then they're back to America to make up that leg of the tour, which ends in October of 2021. And then, of course, they have Kiss Cruise 10 to make up, which, so it would be 2022 at the very least, because we also don't know what legs of the tour that weren't even announced yet that have been changed. Because remember what Doc McGee said about planning years in advance. They plan years in advance. All right, Andy, before we go, if they were to do a live stream, what would be the Andy stream?
The Andy stream? Oh, boy. I don't know. I wouldn't. Number one, I don't want a live stream. No offense. I mean, it's everybody's money, and they can do what they want in the long run. It's no big deal. If it's your money, do what you want. Have fun to a certain point. It's just the way. It's just because of what we're going through in the world. It just contradicts himself. What Paul said and Gene said, I'm never going to do anything until they find a cure, and go look it up. And we know Gene spits out a lot, but this is dangerous for them. They're not kids anymore. But I mean, yeah, I understand it's a cool thing. Like Ken said, they could have done some things over the last, 8 months so far? 8 months. Maybe they could have done some records and stuff. I don't know, man. I don't want a live stream. I just don't want it. This is not the way I want to see the band at all. We saw it like the Dodger Stadium when they did it on TV. Put it on regular TV for everybody. You want to really do something? Put it on TV like you did Dodger Stadium. Well, but only do X amount of songs for everybody else. And if somebody wants to pay the other $40 or $50, whatever it is, fine. But I don't know. I don't know.
That's a completely fair answer. You don't have to make up some bullshit spiel. You've given me an honest answer, Andy, and that is your answer. So,
and I love it. That's what kills me. This is the part that kills me. It's like I really don't want this to end. Like if this could be. I don't want this to be the end. I want to be in that audience, like up looking and crying when Gene and Paul actually take the last.
It's not the end.
Wow, I want to be there crying and just. I don't care, like I'm sobbing like a little baby.
It's just the end of 2020. That's it.
Yeah, that's got to be everyone's mission. Let's get rid of 20. We're gonna kiss 2020 goodbye with or without Kiss playing in the background. I hope something does happen. I hope I don't get an email and a refund notification. Anything Kiss does, it seems to be very divisive. Pardon me. There are people in an uproar in various, on Facebook, not just on the cesspool. It's not the only place people get mad and upset. There's only 10 of those in the world, Andy. Those T-shirts.
And I've worn it. Damn it.
But you know what? Just do what's right for you, but do enjoy what you can. 2020 has been a really horrible year. Let's get through this year. Let's start fresh in 2021. Let's get rid of all our baggage from this year. Hopefully those of us who are long-termers can start, turning the page on that book as well. But let's, get to 2021, pardon me. And,
you must do it all over.
I'm not doing 2020 over. No. After March, after that Kiss show in March, which was the best of my life, it's been a challenge, but it's been worse for a lot of people who are no longer with us to complain about how bad it is for them. So let's leave that there. Andy, Ken, thank you for taking the time to react to our reaction about Kiss 2020 goodbye. And to everyone out there, stay healthy, do what's right for you, and we'll see you soon.
It's not the end.
Until it's the end.
I hope not.
Turn off the lights at the end. Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final, there are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we've broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.